Kyle, good to see you. How are you? Thanks for coming. Robert, pleasure to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Usually I invite Jed, John, Parag, the run game coordinator, the everyone. Today it's just you two. This is a special coaches only meeting for the three most important coaches on the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, and me, the quality control specialist. And the reason I only wanted you two is because I'm going to say some harsh things today. I'm going to say some things that you two need to hear, but that Jed York and John Lynch don't need to hear. Because they don't need to hear this. This is just between you because it's going to sound harsh and you're not going to like it, especially you, Kyle. But the purpose of this is to help you grow as a head coach. I want to make you better. So hold on. Yes? Jed, it's a coaches only meeting. Yeah, no, I said 11 o'clock coaches only. The meeting for how to gain the respect of the NFL in particular and the world in general, that's this afternoon. That's for you. This is coaches. Can you sit and listen? Are you a coach? Then no, goodbye. Where's with that guy? That's our boss. Unreal. Okay, so we got rid of Jed. It's just us two. He doesn't need to hear this, all right? You want him in? I can get him. You want him in? No. All right. Okay, so here's the deal with you, Kyle. What I'm going to say is harsh, but I want to start with praise because my dad always taught me that you start with praise. He was a graduate English teacher at USF, and I would sit in his workshops. He would start by what he liked. So what I got to say about you, Kyle, we're almost 4 years into your head coaching tenure, almost 4 years in. And the best thing you've done as a head coach here is hire Robert Saleh. That was a stroke of genius, and you deserve full credit for that. I don't think any other head coach in the league would have hired Saleh as a defensive coordinator in 2017. He was green. He'd been a position coach for just a few years. He was young. He wasn't your first choice. You wanted Vic Fangio, good choice. Then you wanted Gus Bradley. He's accomplished. I think you got someone even better. He's young. He's up and coming. He's driven. He's terrific. So you deserve full credit for hiring Robert Saleh. He's just wonderful. He's doing an A+ job this year. But here's what I don't want Jed to know and what is just between us. Kyle, Robert Saleh is a better coach than you are right now. No, I don't want to say that. He's a better coach than you are, period. That's what's happened. In 2017, he wasn't. He has surpassed you. And I'm going to explain why. And I'm going to explain why this is a problem. Robert Saleh has become every bit of the play caller that you are. You're an elite play designer, Kyle. You're top 3 in the league. You're right there with Andy Reid and Sean Payton. You're excellent at play design. But play design is only part of the job. And, Saleh's good at that too. Saleh is terrific with his game planning, with his scheme, with X's and O's. He's getting the most out of his defense. He actually gets more out of his players than you. I mean, his defense was better than your offense last year. His defense is better than your offense this year. But where Robert surpasses you, Kyle, is really in all the things that make a head coach a head coach. Robert is relentlessly positive, and it rubs off on his players. His players love to play for him. There is an exuberance and a joy on that defense that doesn't exist on your offense. Robert is the person in this organization who's focused on the message to the players, the big picture. He's the one with the mantras. You're the one that thinks every answer is in the playbook, is in the next gadget play. You are an excellent coordinator, but so is Saleh. Saleh is the head coach of this team. Now, you've abdicated the job, and Saleh has filled the void. If it weren't for Saleh, this team would have no leader, no head coach. You are a terrific match, the two of you. You really, really are. But here's the problem, Kyle. Saleh's so good, he's not going to be here forever. He could get hired by the Chargers in like a month and a half. And then when you go to replace him, You're not just replacing your defensive coordinator. You're not just looking for a guy who's good with X's and O's. You're replacing the head coach of the 49ers. You're replacing the guy who's the source of the optimism and positivity in the locker room. You're replacing that. It's not easy to find. You did it once with Robert Saleh. He was your third choice. You struck gold. Can you do it twice? It's not easy to find. I don't think you can. So here's the thing. You need to internalize a lot of the things that Robert Saleh is doing. So when he leaves, you can then become the head coach of this team because you're not that right now. And I'll explain it. Let me compare you to Sean McVay. You're a better play designer than Sean McVay. I think McVay would agree with that. McVay seems like he's a year behind you. He studies what you do and copies it, right? He has good taste. I would do the same thing. You're a hell of a play designer. But that's the job of a coordinator. McVay's a better head coach than you. He wins more than you do. He's never had a losing season. You're about to have your third losing season in 4 years. What's the difference between Sean McVay and you as a head coach? No, I'm asking you, Kyle. You tell me. You don't know? No, of course you don't know because you don't understand this part of coaching or of really human dynamics. He's positive and upbeat. Sean McVay exudes nothing but positivity and optimism. And that rubs off especially on his quarterback. You know, no one thinks Jared Goff is good. You're dissatisfied with Jimmy Garoppolo. What do you think? How do you think Sean McVay feels about Jared Goff paying him $35 million a year? He's stuck with him. But McVay understands that it does him no good. It does the team no good to undercut Goff in any way. In fact, it is McVay's job as head coach to boost Goff's ego, boost his confidence. Jared, you're good. Jared, we can win with you. And you know what? McVay does that. He projects more positivity than you do. You know what you project, Kyle? Anger. When you're on the sideline, you seem angry all the time. When a play doesn't work, you linger on it. You'll yell at a ref. You don't move on to the next play. Saleh doesn't do that. I've never seen Saleh angry during the game. I've seen him excited. I've seen him pumped up for his players. He doesn't linger on a bad play. He doesn't get up in a ref's face and argue. It's a waste of time. And the source of your anger, Kyle, it's clear what it is. You're held to a different standard. You're Mike Shanahan's kid. It's not good enough for you to be a good coach. You have to be a genius. You have to be better than Mike. You're trying to surpass the legacy of a 2-time Super Bowl champion. That's hard. You're trying to be a genius. That's hard. And you know what? In pursuing the ultimate bar of excellence, you've failed twice. You've lost 2 Super Bowls. That's the monkey on your back. You have 2 monkeys on your back. Remember Steve Young? He couldn't get to the Super Bowl his first couple years as the Niners starter when your dad was the offensive coordinator. And then finally in 1994, when they won the Super Bowl, he ran around the stadium. And what was that, Miami? Yelling, "Take the monkey off my back. Take the monkey off my back." That's because he hadn't won a Super Bowl yet. You've lost 2 Super Bowls. So you got 2 monkeys and they're just slowly strangling you. And you have this look on your face of bitter frustration and disappointment. Had you won those Super Bowls, you'd be like McVay. You'd be like Saleh. You'd be Mr. Positivity strutting around the sideline. But instead, you got that cloud hanging over you, a frustration. And the way you take it out is on your quarterback. You are a quarterback killer, like John Gruden. You're holding yourself to this standard. I'm a genius, and I'm going to be a Hall of Famer like my dad. But you are a Super Bowl loser twice. So what do? You blame your quarterback. It's not my fault. It's the quarterback's fault. It's not my fault. Matt Ryan should have thrown the ball away. Shouldn't have taken those sacks. Jimmy Garoppolo should have hit the throws. They were open. That's what you do. You're a quarterback blamer, a quarterback killer. And what I've noticed about you is you've never been around a team long enough to actually stick with a quarterback for more than a few years. You were in Houston for a couple of years. You left. Who knows what the long-term effect of you on Matt Schaub would have been? You were there for 2 years. Then you went to Washington. You had Kirk Cousins for 2 years, left. He blossomed under Sean McVay. I wonder why. You went to Cleveland for a year. You were in Atlanta for 2 years. By the time you left, Matt Ryan was thoroughly pissed at you. How would that relationship have gone for for into the future. Then you come to the Niners. You've had Jimmy Garoppolo since 2017. Did he get better? No. Did you break him? Arguably. So here's the thing. Your style of coaching, when you're not yelling at the refs or being negative and frustrated and angry in a game, is to keep it real. That's what all the players say about you. You keep it real, which meaning you're ruthlessly honest and negative. If a player makes a mistake, you call him out. Any player, strong safety, long snapper, it doesn't get by you. So you have a team full of players, except for the ones who know that you like them, like Quan Alexander, who are afraid to make mistakes. They play like they're afraid to make mistakes. They play like they're afraid of what you're going to say at the Monday meeting, the Wednesday meeting, whatever. Especially your quarterbacks. Oh my God, especially your quarterbacks. And you know, Bay Area sports fans have seen this before with John Gruden. You remind me of John Gruden. John Gruden just wears out his quarterback's confidence every few years. I'm surprised that Derek Carr is playing as well as he has. And Gruden's going to mess that up eventually because it's what he does. He constantly nitpicks his quarterbacks. Hey, what about this read? This was wrong. This was wrong. How come you didn't set your feet here? How come you didn't make this one throw? Constantly negative stuff. And you know, that stuff might help you at first. It might light a fire under you at first, but in year 3 and year 4, it's tiring and it erodes a quarterback's confidence. That's what you're doing. You know, I'm sure Bill Belichick, a lot of coaches are looking at Jimmy and being like, you know what? All this guy needs is some time to get healthy and a coach who believes in him. A coach who says, you know what, Jimmy, you're good. Because what you do is you say, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not even as good as Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins would have made this throw. And you curse a lot. You say the F word a lot. Everything about your demeanor with players is harsh. They're afraid of you. Pete Carroll's not like that. John Gruden's like that. Robert Saleh's not like that. Robert Saleh doesn't yell at his players. He is relentlessly positive and he gives constructive criticism. I think that style works better with people who were born in 1995 and after. I'm born in 1988. I don't like relentless negativity. My parents didn't raise me that way. They would keep it real, but they would also tell me, you're great. We believe in you. You're going to do well. Those kind of things. People like to hear that. Do you say that to your players, to your quarterbacks? So here's the thing. You get rid of Jimmy this offseason. You bring in someone, the guy you want. Who's to say you're not going to kill his confidence in a few years either? Every throw he misses, every read that you don't agree with, you crush him for it to the point where he's on the field, not thinking, not reacting. His whole attitude will be, well, what does Kyle want me to do? Where does Kyle want me to go on this play? Because if I don't do that and I even make the throw, he's going to be mad at me. And I can take Kyle chewing me out once, twice, but every single time I'm done. I don't want it anymore. This is what you need to think about, Kyle. So you need to do one of two things. You either need to cleanse your mind and you need to do some like meditation. You need to go on like a retreat to India or something. You need to cleanse your mind and get past the 2 Super Bowl losses. Stop trying to be a genius. Stop trying to live up to your dad. You're putting too much pressure on yourself and it's making you miserable. You can see it in your face. You need to cleanse your mind and be positive. It's like Office Space. You know that the main character, he was really upset and then he went and he kind of got hypnotized. And all of a sudden he was the most relentlessly positive person of all time. Oh, you're firing me? Great. Oh, I'm a construction worker now? Even better. That's you, Kyle. You need to cleanse your mind, hypnotize yourself, and unlock your inner Robert Saleh. If you can be positive like Saleh and McVay, you can be a Super Bowl champion because it's your attitude that's holding you back. But, you know, I don't know if you can do it. You're 40-something years old. This is who you are. You need to really, really look in the mirror and decide, can you make this change? Can you cleanse your mind and become more positive of a coach? Or if you can't, if this is just who you are, you should step down as the 49ers head coach and give the job to Robert Saleh because he's doing it already. He's been the head coach of this team since last year. He's carried it. Make it official. If you feel like you can't stop yelling at the refs during the game, go up in the booth. You were great in the booth in Atlanta. You were removed from the emotion of the game. You could focus on calling plays. If one didn't work out, you could go to the next one. You're behind plexiglass. Maybe that's your domain, the booth. 7 stories high, where the game looks like a silent film. Maybe that's where you need to be. Saleh is good on the sideline. He can make adjustments. He can talk to his players. He can keep his cool. He's great out there. I don't know. You got to decide. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying you need to show it. And if you can't, then step down and let Robert Saleh be the head coach. Because if you lose him, if you lose Robert Saleh, this whole operation could go to hell in a handbasket, as my mom would say, as my grandma would say. You can't, you're not just going to lose your defensive coordinator. You're going to lose the leader of the team. You're going to lose the sense of the source of optimism, positivity on this team. You can't replace that. You can't. You can't fill that void. You can't find a guy to fill that void. You might find a guy like the Rams. They got a Vic Fangio disciple, Brandon Staley. He's doing pretty good. McVay's the leader of that team. He doesn't have to be a leader. You need a defensive coordinator who can be a leader, who can balance out your negativity. So when you nitpick everything a guy does, Saleh can be in the background. Hey, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. You're great. Don't worry about it. But he can only do that right now for the defensive players. He can't go to Jimmy and be like, don't listen to Kyle. Don't listen to Kyle. You're still great. That's just Kyle being Kyle. You need someone to do that, man. Either you need to tone it down for the sake of your quarterbacks, or you need to make Robert Saleh the head coach so he can go up to your quarterbacks and be like, look, man. Just filter out all that stuff, compartmentalize his tone. I like you. I'm the head coach. I believe in you. That's what you need, man. One or the other. And this is why I didn't want Jed York to listen, because he would hear this and be like, okay, well, I'm firing Kyle Shanahan and promoting Robert Saleh because Grant Cohn said so, because he's doing everything I say at this point. I mean, he's coming to a seminar this afternoon on how to get the NFL to respect him and the world in general. There's no way. That's impossible. But I'm going to sit down and tell him things because he asked me to, and he's the boss, and he's worth billions of dollars. So I'm going to lay out a lesson plan of what he can do to get the NFL's respect. And, it's just, God love him. Poor Jed. So you see what I'm saying? This is supposed to be constructive criticism. I'm using McVay and Saleh as the examples for why you are falling short as a head coach. You're a top 3 play designer in the league. You're an experienced offensive coordinator. You're a novice head coach, and you are not necessarily improving. You're on the verge of your third losing season in 4 years. You're on the verge of getting another quarterback. Other coaches in your position may not have as much job security as you. I mean, thank goodness you signed that extension this offseason, Kyle. Can I just say, that was the second best thing you've done as a head coach. The first best thing you did was hire Saleh. Genius. But 2, getting that extension after losing the Super Bowl the way you did, given that you had already blown a Super Bowl in Atlanta, to get an extension to make you one of the highest paid coaches in the league, when Jim Harbaugh asked for the same thing after he lost a Super Bowl with the same franchise like 7 years before and got rebuffed, that was just amazing. As Eric Davis once said on my show, you are what you can negotiate. Boy, that applies to you, Kyle. Way to go. You're not a genius yet. Not a genius, but you are rich. Good for you. You talked your way into a fortune. Your great-great-grandchildren really have to thank you for all that you were able to negotiate despite having a losing record. I mean, it's amazing. It's just freaking amazing. So, you guys are free to go. That's all I had to say. Robert, I really had nothing to say to you. You're doing such a good job. It is a pleasure to have you in the organization. Please don't leave. Kyle needs you. We need you. If, say, the Chargers or the Bears approach you with an offer, let us know, and we'll see if we can get Jed to match it, or if we can just get you to be co-head coach or something like that. Maybe create a job called co-head coach, because you already are the co-head coach. It'd be nice to just get the recognition. So, Robert, keep doing what you're doing. Kyle, be more like him. Be more like Sean McVay. Put a smile, Kyle. Come on. Your name rhymes with smile. From now on, your name is Smile Shanahan. Okay? I'm not calling you Kyle again until I see those teeth, baby. Smile, Shanahan. Come on. Life's not that tough. I know it's hard to be compared to your dad, and have the pressure of being a genius. You're putting all that on yourself. Just smile, Kyle. Smile. You got it made. You're worth like $100 million. You get to coach football, man. Smile. It's not that bad.